Tea is the second most consumed beverage on the planet, right behind water. It has been drunk for thousands of years, celebrated by cultures across Asia, Europe, and the Middle East for its remarkable health benefits, its ritual, and its simplicity. At its best, a cup of hot tea is one of the healthiest things you can put in your body. But the hot tea industry has a dirty secret. Most of what is sitting in your pantry right now is low-grade, pesticide-treated, stale leaf dust stuffed into plastic-containing bags. Today we are exposing 7 hot tea brands you should stop buying, and 2 that are genuinely worth your money. Let's get into it. Starting with the 7 hot tea brands to avoid. Number 1 to avoid, Lipton. Lipton is the best-selling tea brand in the world. It is in virtually every grocery store, every office break room, and every hotel lobby on Earth. And it is one of the most misleading products in the tea aisle. The core problem with Lipton starts with the tea itself. Lipton uses what the industry calls fannings and dust, the lowest grade of tea available. When whole tea leaves are harvested, processed, and sorted, the high-quality leaves are separated out for premium products. What is left over, the tiny broken fragments, the powder, the literal dust at the bottom of the sorting machine, gets swept up and packed into mass-market tea bags. That is what is inside a Lipton tea bag. The functional problem with fannings and dust is that the surface area is dramatically higher relative to the volume of tea. This means the tea oxidizes faster, goes stale faster, and extracts more bitterness and harsh tannins when brewed relative to the nuanced, complex flavors you get from whole or large leaf tea. It also means the beneficial polyphenols and antioxidants that make tea worth drinking degrade faster in storage. So by the time you steep that bag, you may be getting a fraction of the health benefits that fresh, whole leaf tea would deliver. On the pesticide front, Lipton has a documented and serious track record of problems. A 2023 report by the European Food Safety Authority flagged multiple Lipton tea products for pesticide residues exceeding allowable limits in the European Union. Several Lipton varieties were found to contain residues of multiple pesticides simultaneously, a phenomenon called the cocktail effect, where individual levels might fall under legal thresholds, but the combined exposure raises legitimate long-term health concerns. Lipton's plain-bagged tea is calorie-free and contains no added sugar, which is genuinely positive. But the combination of bottom-grade fannings, documented pesticide residue problems, and plastic-containing tea bag materials, which we will discuss more in a moment, make Lipton a brand worth walking away from. Price runs around $4 to $6 for a box of 100 tea bags, which looks like outstanding value. But low-quality fannings, pesticide concerns, and degraded antioxidant delivery mean you are not getting what you think you are paying for. Avoid it. Number 2 to avoid, Celestial Seasonings. Celestial Seasonings built its brand on a wholesome, natural image. Colorful boxes, feel-good names like Sleepy Time and Tension Tamer, beautiful nature illustrations, and the warm promise of an herbal, healthful experience. The reality behind the branding is significantly more complicated. In 2013, Glaucus Research, a financial research firm that conducted independent laboratory testing of Celestial Seasonings products, found pesticide residues in a significant number of their teas, including products marketed explicitly as natural. Some samples tested positive for propachlor, a pesticide classified as a probable human carcinogen by the Environmental Protection Agency. The brand disputed the findings, but the report attracted widespread media coverage and raised serious questions about their sourcing practices and internal testing standards. The bigger ongoing issue is what Celestial Seasonings means by natural flavors, a term that appears throughout their product line. Natural flavors is one of the most misused and misunderstood terms in the food and beverage industry. Under FDA regulations, natural flavors can legally include hundreds of chemically derived compounds as long as they originated from a natural source at some point in their processing chain. It is a regulatory loophole that allows brands to use highly engineered flavor compounds while maintaining a clean, nature-forward label. For a brand whose entire identity is built on being natural and wholesome, the reliance on this term is a meaningful transparency failure. Their herbal teas contain no caffeine and no added sugar, which is legitimate. But the pesticide testing history and the natural flavors opacity make Celestial Seasonings a brand that does not live up to the image on the box. Price runs about $4 to $6 for a box of 20 bags. Mid-tier pricing for below-par transparency. Number 3 to avoid, Bigelow. Bigelow is an American family-owned tea company that has been in business since 1945, and it has a genuinely loyal following built on decades of brand trust. That trust, unfortunately, is not fully warranted by what is in the bag. Like Lipton, Bigelow uses predominantly fannings and dust-grade tea in their standard bagged tea line. The tea quality is low by any specialty standard, and their blending and sourcing transparency is limited. Bigelow does not publish meaningful origin information for most of their teas, making it essentially impossible for consumers to assess where the tea is actually being grown, how it is being treated, and how fresh it is. On pesticide testing, Bigelow has appeared in several third-party testing reports examining residue levels in mainstream bagged teas. The widely cited Glaucus research report from 2014 identified pesticide residues in Bigelow products at levels that raised health concerns, even if legal thresholds were not universally exceeded. The tea bag material is a significant concern that most consumers are entirely unaware of. The majority of Bigelow tea bags are made using a heat-sealed material that contains plastic, specifically a polyethylene or nylon-based sealant. When you pour boiling water over these bags, research has shown that plastic-containing tea bag materials can release billions of microplastic and nanoplastic particles directly into your cup. A 2019 study published in the journal Environmental Science and Technology found that a single plastic-containing tea bag steeped at 95 degrees Celsius released approximately 11.6 billion microplastic particles into the water. These particles are absorbed into the body and are now being found in human blood, lung tissue, and organs. This is an industry-wide problem, but it is a reason to specifically seek out brands using paper, cotton, or certified plant-based bag materials. Fannings grade tea, limited sourcing transparency, pesticide residue history, and plastic tea bag material concerns. Bigelow underdelivers for the mid-range price of $5 to $8 per box. Number 4 to avoid, Tazo. Tazo is the tea brand most associated with Starbucks, sold in Starbucks locations and in mainstream grocery stores nationwide, and the brand carries the implied quality signals of that association. For most consumers, if Starbucks serves it, it must be good. That assumption does not hold up when you look closely at the product. Tazo uses a blending model that prioritizes bold, dramatic flavor profiles. Their teas tend to be strong and assertive, which many consumers enjoy and associate with quality. But achieving those intense, consistent flavors in a commodity tea bag often means relying heavily on added natural and artificial flavorings, rather than on genuinely high-quality, expressive tea sourcing. Natural flavors and artificial flavors appear throughout the Tazo ingredient list. This raises the same concerns flagged with Celestial Seasonings. It signals that the tea base itself is insufficiently flavorful to carry the product, and that engineered flavor compounds are doing the heavy lifting. For a brand charging a premium on the strength of its Starbucks association, this is a meaningful quality gap. On sourcing transparency, Tazo publishes very little. No farm-level sourcing information, no published pesticide testing results, and limited third-party certification coverage on their mainstream line. For a brand at this price point, that opacity is difficult to justify. Their bags also use sealed materials, with plastic components in many product varieties, adding the microplastic concern to an already weak sourcing story. Price runs $6 to $9 for a box of 20 bags. a genuine premium for a product built on branded flavor rather than leaf quality. Tazo is charging for the Starbucks halo. It hasn't earned a quality premium on ingredient merit. Number 5 to avoid: Twinings. Twinings is a British institution founded in 1706, one of the oldest continuously operating tea businesses in the world, and a brand that carries significant authority and trust with consumers who associate the name with genuine tea expertise. It is a particularly important brand to examine honestly because of how much that heritage is taken for granted. Twinings uses a blend sourcing model, pulling tea from multiple origins and blending to a consistent flavor profile, which is standard industry practice. The problem is that blending to consistency at scale requires prioritizing uniformity over quality, and the tea grades used in Twinings' standard bagged line are predominantly fannings and small broken leaf grades rather than whole leaf. Their flagship English breakfast tea, their most iconic product, is a blend of teas from multiple African and Asian origins. While the blend itself is skillfully constructed and delivers a recognizable, satisfying cup, the underlying leaf quality is commodity grade, and the sourcing origins shift based on market pricing rather than quality relationships. This is how mass market tea blending works, and it is why the tea in your Twinings bag today may be meaningfully different from what was in it 2 years ago. Twinings has faced pesticide residue questions in European market testing. They have also been the subject of sustainability critiques. Despite their Rainforest Alliance certification on some product lines, independent assessments have questioned the comprehensiveness of their supply chain accountability, particularly in relation to labor standards on contracted farms. Their tea bags use a heat-sealed design that, like Bigelow and Tazo, contains plastic-based sealant materials that raise the same microplastic concerns. Price runs $5 to $9 for a box of 20 to 50 bags. For a century-old brand asking you to trust its heritage, the ingredient quality, sourcing opacity, and bag material concerns make it a brand worth treating with more skepticism than its reputation encourages. Number 6 to avoid: Harney & Sons. Harney & Sons occupies the upper end of the mainstream premium tea market, with beautiful tins, a sophisticated brand identity, and a price point: $10 to $18 for a tin of 20 to 30 sachets. That positions it firmly alongside genuine artisan products. And on aesthetics and presentation, Harney delivers. But on leaf quality and sourcing transparency relative to that price, the brand falls short. Harney uses a sachet format for most of their retail line, pyramid-shaped mesh bags that allow more leaf expansion than flat paper bags. This is a genuine improvement in the brewing experience, but the material of those sachets is a critical issue. Harney's pyramid sachets are made from nylon mesh, a plastic material that, when steeped in boiling water, releases microplastics into your tea. At the price point Harney charges, the use of plastic nylon sachets rather than paper, cotton, or certified plant-based alternatives is an ingredient and health compromise that premium customers are paying not to make. On leaf quality, Harney sources good quality broken leaf tea for many of their offerings, a step above Fannings, but they do not consistently publish farm-level sourcing information or third-party pesticide testing results for their mainstream retail line. For a brand charging genuine artisan prices, this transparency gap is significant. Their flavored teas, which represent a large portion of their sales, rely extensively on natural flavoring compounds and flavor oils applied to the tea base, which again raises the same transparency questions that apply to any brand using natural flavors as a catch-all designation. Beautiful branding, good presentation, but plastic nylon sachets, limited sourcing transparency, and flavor compound-dependent blends at a price point that should guarantee better on all 3 counts. Harney & Sons charges premium prices without fully earning them. Number 7 to avoid: Yogi Tea. Yogi Tea is a brand built on wellness positioning. Their teas are named bedtime, stress relief, immune support, and detox. And the packaging is loaded with health language, spiritual imagery, and the implied promise that drinking this tea will meaningfully support your body. That positioning needs to be examined very carefully. The primary concern with Yogi Tea is the 2014 Consumer Lab investigation that tested a range of Yogi products and found evidence of contamination in several varieties. More significantly, a German Federal Institute for Risk Assessment study found residues of pyrrolizidine alkaloids, naturally occurring plant compounds that can be toxic to the liver at elevated doses. In several Yogi Tea blends, these compounds are not added intentionally, but can enter blends through contamination of herbal ingredients sourced without rigorous testing protocols. The health claim language on Yogi packaging is another issue. Terms like immune support and detox on consumer food products are not regulated health claims. They are marketing language. The actual physiological effects of most Yogi blends are not supported by the kind of rigorous clinical evidence that the packaging implies. Consumers reaching for a Yogi immune support tea during cold season may be getting some beneficial herbs, elderberry, echinacea, ginger, but they are not getting a clinically validated immune intervention, despite the confident wellness language surrounding the product. Yogi's sourcing transparency is limited, and their tea bag materials include sealed formats with plastic-containing elements in some product lines. Price runs $4 to $7 for a box of 16 bags. Mid-range pricing for a wellness-positioned product with contamination history concerns, unregulated health claims, and sourcing opacity. The wellness image has been built carefully. The product has not always lived up to it. Now for the two hot tea brands, genuinely worth buying. Number 2 best, Pique Tea. Pique Tea is a brand built around a single genuinely innovative and scientifically grounded idea: cold brew crystallized tea. Their teas are brewed for 6 to 8 hours in cold filtered water, a process that extracts the beneficial polyphenols and antioxidants in tea while minimizing the bitter tannins and harsh compounds that hot water brewing can pull out, then crystallized into a powder form that dissolves instantly in hot or cold water. The result is a tea that delivers dramatically higher levels of bioavailable polyphenols and antioxidants than conventional bagged tea, because the cold brew process and careful crystallization concentrate the beneficial compounds without destroying them through heat. Independent testing has confirmed that Pique Teas deliver measurably higher antioxidant content than equivalent conventionally brewed bagged teas. On sourcing, Pique is exceptional by any standard. They work directly with certified organic tea farms in China, Japan, and Taiwan, sourcing teas from established growing regions with documented relationships. Every single batch is triple laboratory tested for pesticide residues, heavy metals, and mold, and they publish those test results publicly. This level of third-party testing transparency is essentially unheard of at any mainstream market level. Most brands ask you to trust them. Pique shows you the data. Their ingredient lists are immaculate. Pure organic tea and nothing else in their unflavored varieties. Their flavored blends use real botanicals, actual dried fruit, actual herbs, actual spices, not natural flavor compounds. No plastic tea bags, no fannings, no artificial anything. Nutritionally, Pique Teas contain 0 sugar, 0 calories, and deliver genuinely superior antioxidant content to conventional bagged tea. For anyone who drinks tea primarily for health benefits rather than ritual, the cold brew crystallization process represents a meaningful upgrade over anything in a tea bag. Price is the primary consideration. Pique is sold primarily online and runs approximately $25 to $45 for a box of 14 to 28 single-serve packets, roughly $1.50 to $2.50 per cup. That is significantly more than drugstore bagged tea. But when you are getting certified organic, triple laboratory tested. Cold brew crystallized tea with published test results and a genuinely superior antioxidant profile. The premium reflects real, documented value. Pique Tea earns the #2 spot and deserves to be far better known than it currently is. And the #1 best hot tea brand, Vahdam Teas. Vahdam Teas is an Indian tea company founded in 2015 with a sourcing and freshness model that is fundamentally different from every other brand on this list. And it is the difference that changes everything about what ends up in your cup. Vahdam sources directly from tea gardens in Darjeeling, Assam, Nilgiri, and other premier growing regions across India, and ships within 72 hours of harvest to ensure a level of freshness that no warehouse-distributed multi-intermediary commodity-sourced brand can come close to matching. The freshness dimension is genuinely important and almost completely overlooked by mainstream tea consumers. Most commercial tea bags contain tea that was harvested, processed, blended, bagged, shipped internationally across multiple distribution points, warehoused, sent to regional distributors, and finally shelved at retail, a journey that routinely takes 6 months to over a year from harvest to your kitchen. During that time, the volatile aromatic compounds that give fresh tea its complexity degrade significantly, and the polyphenols and antioxidants that make tea worth drinking for your health oxidize and lose potency. By the time you steep that bag of Lipton or Bigelow or Twinings, you may be getting a small fraction of the beneficial compounds that were present at harvest. Vahdam's 72-hour farm-to-packaging model means you are drinking tea that is as close to the freshness of the harvest as a retail product can realistically achieve. The difference in the cup is immediate and dramatic. Brighter aromatics, more complex flavor, and a meaningfully higher delivery of the compounds that make tea genuinely good for you. Their tea quality is genuine first-grade whole leaf and well-sorted broken leaf. Not fannings, not dust. This matters for every aspect of the tea experience: flavor development, antioxidant delivery, and aroma. The difference between whole leaf Darjeeling First Flush from Vahdam and a fannings-based Lipton bag is not subtle. It is the difference between fresh produce and canned goods. Vahdam is certified USDA organic across their organic product line, non-GMO project verified, and Rainforest Alliance certified for sustainable and ethical sourcing. They publish detailed origin information for every tea: the specific garden, the elevation, the harvest season, and the tea master responsible for the production. This is the standard of transparency that every brand on this list should be held to, and almost none of them are. Their bags use non-plastic, food-safe materials, eliminating the microplastic concern that applies to most of the brands on the avoid list. Their loose leaf offerings, which represent their finest products, require no bag at all. Nutritionally, Vahdam teas contain 0 calories, 0 sugar, and deliver authentic, fresh polyphenol and flavanol content from genuinely high-quality whole leaf tea processed close to harvest. These are the actual compounds linked in clinical research to cardiovascular benefits, cognitive support, and antioxidant protection. You get them in meaningful quantities from fresh, whole leaf tea. You get them in diminished form from aged fannings in a plastic leaching bag. Price is where Vahdam genuinely surprises. Most of their teas run $12 to $20 for 50 to 100 grams of loose leaf tea, or a box of 30 to 50 whole leaf tea bags. For a product sourced directly from premier Indian growing regions, shipped fresh within 72 hours of harvest, certified organic, non-GMO verified, Rainforest Alliance certified, transparently sourced to the specific garden and season, and packaged without plastic bag materials, that pricing represents extraordinary value. It costs less per cup than Harney & Sons nylon sachets, and it is a fundamentally superior product in every measurable way. Vahdam also operates with a meaningful social mission, reinvesting in the welfare of the tea farming communities they source from, supporting education and healthcare programs for tea garden workers, and their families. The values alignment between how the company operates and the quality of the product they deliver is genuine and consistent. Farm direct sourcing, 72-hour harvest to packaging, whole leaf first-grade tea from premier Indian origins, certified organic, full garden-level sourcing transparency, non-plastic bag materials, and extraordinary freshness at a price that undercuts most premium competitors. Vahdam Teas is the best hot tea brand available to the mainstream consumer, and it is not a close contest. Before you shop, here is what to know. Whole leaf beats fannings every time. If a brand does not specify whole leaf or describe their grade and just says tea or black tea, you are almost certainly getting fannings and dust. Whole leaf tea costs more to produce, delivers better flavor, and retains antioxidants more effectively in storage. Freshness matters more than most people realize. Tea has a real shelf life. Whole leaf tea stored properly is best consumed within 12 to 18 months of harvest. Fannings in a foil-lined bag sitting in a warehouse for a year before you buy it is not delivering meaningful health benefits. Buy from brands that are transparent about harvest dates and sourcing timelines. Plastic tea bags are a genuine health concern. Any heat-sealed tea bag that is not explicitly paper, unbleached cotton, or a certified plant-based material likely contains plastic that releases microplastics into your cup when steeped in boiling water. The 2019 research on this is clear and alarming. Look for paper bags, loose leaf, or brands that explicitly confirm non-plastic materials. Third-party certifications provide real accountability. USDA Organic, Rainforest Alliance, Non-GMO Project Verified. These are not perfect systems, but they require independent verification and provide meaningful baseline assurance on pesticide levels, sourcing ethics, and environmental standards. Brands without any certification are asking for blind trust. Published pesticide testing is the gold standard. The best brands test every batch for pesticide residues, heavy metals, and contaminants and publish those results. If a brand cannot or will not tell you what is in their tea beyond the ingredient list, that silence is itself an answer. And loose leaf is almost always better. Loose leaf tea uses higher grade leaves, allows full expansion for proper extraction, produces no plastic bag waste, and delivers a dramatically superior cup in both flavor and health content. A simple mesh infuser costs a few dollars and lasts years. It is the single easiest upgrade you can make to your tea routine. Your morning cup deserves to actually be good for you. Now you know exactly how to make sure it is. If this video helped you, hit the like button, subscribe, and drop a comment with the tea you are going to try next.